Religion. In everything from politics to the arts, it's been an incredibly powerful and prominent influence for thousands of years. With 84% of the world's population actively practicing religion, it's safe to say that it touches all of us in one way or another. Take me, for example. I've been exposed to a variety of religious beliefs, from Reform Judaism on my father's side to conservative Christianity and Islam on my mother's side. Indonesia, where my mother's from, is the fourth most religious country in the world, a country where you can't go to school, get a driver's license, or apply for a job without identifying with one of the few accepted religions. My mother's religion has always been a large influence in my life, from the monthly worship gatherings to the big annual Christmas celebration. Throughout the years, I've experienced the great things that religion can bring, the sense of community, joy, and hope, but I've also witnessed firsthand some of the dangers it begets. Many core aspects of religion threaten progress in society by encouraging credulousness, helplessness, and ignorance. First, there's the aspect of blind faith, on which religion relies heavily. Faith is the belief in spite of, even perhaps because of, the lack of evidence. It is a glorified excuse to evade the need to think and evaluate. 2 Corinthians 5:7, we walk by faith, not by sight. Quran 5:101, O you who have believed, do not ask about things which, if they are shown to you, will distress you. In order to stay strong, religion discourages its followers from asking questions and trains them to shut out any contradictory evidence. It implores them to trust authority figures rather than their own rational thought. Imagine if we took the same approach with politicians and just accepted everything they said at face value. Imagine the power they would wield over us.
Because she thought that Kim Jong-il could read her thoughts.
Mind. Yeah, so let me tell you what she wrote. I think it's so interesting. She says, this whole time, I was still so brainwashed. This is when she's already in South Korea. I was still so brainwashed that I thought Kim Jong-il could read my mind from afar. Even though I had escaped, I wouldn't let myself think anything negative about the regime. I realized that everything I thought was a lie. I had not been a real person. I was created for the regime to work for them. If they ordered us to die, I would have died for them. It's amazing. Yeah. When Kim Jong-il died, her mother couldn't believe it. We were in South Korea, and then her mother said, he can't die because he's not human. He's a god.
One of history's greatest thinkers, Albert Einstein, once said that unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Question everything. We should always question everything, not only because it protects us from manipulation, but because it fuels progress. Where would we be if Lincoln had never questioned the unequal treatment of different races? Where would we be if the Wright brothers had never questioned the concept of flight? To quote author Richard Dawkins, one of the truly bad effects of religion is that it teaches us that it is a virtue to be satisfied with not understanding. Religion also teaches helplessness. It's all part of God's plan. Let go and let God. We've all heard these phrases before, but how many of us have actually taken the time to consider the dangers of these ideologies? People have become so used to attributing things to the will of God that they automatically accept them as inevitable and do nothing in response. Huge societal issues such as poverty are attributed to the will of God rather than bad decisions, and believers wait for God to solve problems they could solve themselves. One prominent Christian website states that there is inequality in this world because it is a broken world caused by humanity's rebellion against God's rule. Another suggests that, to ease suffering, you must believe and have faith no matter what life brings to your door, and learn to trust God's plan and do not rely on our understanding. Neither encourages us to reevaluate decisions or look for the true cause of these problems. On Easter Sunday of 2008, 11-year-old Cara Newman of Weston, Wisconsin died, her parents kneeling in prayer beside her. They did not call a doctor for help, for their religion shunned medical intervention with the will of God. Young Cara died not from terminal cancer, not from a fatal accident, but from diabetes, an extremely common and treatable condition. The parents believed that calling God instead of a doctor was the best option available for their child.
Deeply religious, the Newmans considered their daughter's illness a test of faith and prayed for her to get well. In Wisconsin's child abuse statute, treatment through prayer or faith healing is protected, even when it results in great bodily harm of the child.
Richard Dawkins expressed the danger of this mentality perfectly. There's something infantile in the presumption that somebody else has a responsibility to give your life meaning and point. The truly adult view, by contrast, is that our life is as meaningful, as full, and as wonderful as we choose to make it. Finally, you will recall that my first argument was about the importance of questioning everything. While this is entirely true, it doesn't mean that you have to have all the answers right away. One of the largest benefits of religion is the sense of security it brings. There's no fear of the unknown, for all of life's greatest questions have been answered.
Hold your Bible up, say it like you mean it. This is my Bible. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. I can do what it says I can do. Today I will be taught the Word of God.
The thing is, people don't realize that there's danger in this. In the words of Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's okay not to know all the answers. It's better to admit our ignorance than to believe answers that might be wrong. Pretending to know everything closes the door to finding out what's really there. When thinking about serious topics such as the afterlife, we tend to become scared and quickly push it away as soon as our thoughts start to wander to an unsettling place. This is how we succumb to ignorance. It's like continuing to eat hot dogs but not wanting to know how they're made. Yes, it's the easiest option, but it's ignorant and probably very bad for you. This is what religion does by feeding you easy answers. For all these reasons, I believe that religion can be incredibly dangerous. It's not that we must bring an end to all religion, but that we must always remember. Question everything. Take matters into your own hands. Face the fear of the unknown. The day we stop doing this and give in fully to religion will be the day that all progress in society stops.